I used to think my grandmother was just superstitious. She grew up in a tiny village where every strange noise had a story behind it. If a dog barked at an empty road, she'd tell you not to look outside. If someone called your name after midnight, she'd say to ignore it. And every single time she stayed over at our house, she'd remind me of one thing before bed. If you ever wake up and can't move, don't open your eyes. I laughed every time. She'd just smile. No matter what you hear, she'd say, keep your eyes closed. I always assumed she was talking about nightmares. I never asked why. I wish I had. 3 years after she passed away, I moved into my first apartment. It wasn't anything special. 1 bedroom, 3rd floor, quiet neighborhood, the kind of place where nothing ever seemed to happen. The first few weeks were perfect. Then I started waking up around 3 in the morning. At first, it was only for a few seconds. I'd open my eyes, look around, and fall back asleep. Nothing unusual, until one night, I woke up, but I couldn't move. I knew immediately what it was. Sleep paralysis. I'd heard of it before. I'd even watched videos about it. So I stayed calm. Then I heard my bedroom door creak open. Slowly. Not the quick pop of old wood settling. A long, deliberate creak. Someone was walking across my bedroom floor. 1 step, pause. Another step, pause. I couldn't see anything because my bed faced the opposite wall. I could only hear it. Whoever it was stopped right behind me. Close enough that I could hear breathing, warm, slow, patient. Then I heard my grandmother's voice, as clearly as if she were standing beside the bed. Don't open your eyes. My heart nearly stopped. She had been dead for 3 years. The breathing disappeared. A second later, I could move again. I searched the apartment from top to bottom. Every window was locked. The front door was still deadbolted from the inside. There was no one there. I told myself stress was making me imagine things. A few nights passed without anything happening. Then it came back. This time I woke up already unable to move. The room was completely silent. Then, knock, knock, knock. Someone was tapping on my bedroom door. 3 slow knocks. The handle rattled. Another 3 knocks. Then my grandmother's voice, much quieter this time. Don't answer. The knocking stopped. For a long time, nothing happened. Then something began scratching the wall beside my bed, very gently, like someone dragging their fingernails across the paint. It traveled slowly around the room, 1 wall, then another, until it stopped directly above my head. I felt something leaning over me. I couldn't see it. I refused to open my eyes. Eventually, I could move again. When morning came, I laughed at myself. Until I noticed 4 long scratches running across the wall above my pillow. Fresh. The paint had curled outward. I convinced myself I'd somehow never noticed them before. The 3rd episode happened a week later. By then I knew exactly what to expect. Wake up, can't move, hear something, wait for it to end, easy. Except, this time there were no footsteps, no scratching, no breathing, just silence. Then my grandmother whispered, "Whatever happens, don't look." I squeezed my eyes shut harder. Seconds passed, maybe minutes. Then I heard another voice. It sounded exactly like hers. "It's okay. You can look now." Something about it felt wrong. The words were right, the voice wasn't. It was too perfect, like someone copying the way she used to speak. Then it laughed, not loudly, just one quiet chuckle. My grandmother never laughed like that. I kept my eyes shut. The room became freezing cold. The air felt heavy. Then I heard footsteps walking away. The bedroom door clicked shut. The paralysis ended. I sat there for nearly an hour before I found the courage to move. I don't really tell this story anymore. Every time I do, someone always has an explanation for it. You were stressed. It was just sleep paralysis. Your brain was dreaming while you were awake. Maybe they're right. I honestly hope they are, because if they're not, then I still don't know what was standing in the corner of my dorm room. This happened during my sophomore year of college. I had just moved into a single dorm after my roommate transferred to another school halfway through the semester. Everyone thought I got lucky. A room to myself. No snoring. No loud music at 2 a.m. No one eating my food. I thought so too, for about a week. The building itself was ancient, the kind of place where every floorboard creaked and every pipe made noises loud enough to wake you up. At first, those sounds were comforting. They reminded me I wasn't alone. Then, I started noticing something strange. Every night, without fail, I'd wake up at exactly 3:17 a.m. Not around that time, exactly. I'd check my phone every single time because it freaked me out so much. 3:17, every single night. I figured my body clock was just being weird. Until the 5th night. That's when I noticed someone standing in the corner. At least, I thought someone was standing there. You know that moment when you wake up and your room doesn't quite look right yet. Everything is blurry. Your brain hasn't caught up. I rubbed my eyes and stared into the darkness. There was definitely something there, tall, completely still. I couldn't make out a face. It almost looked like a person wearing black clothes in a room that was already dark. I remember thinking, did someone get into my room? I tried to sit up. Nothing happened. I tried again. Still nothing. My arms wouldn't move, neither would my legs. That's when the panic hit. I was fully awake. I knew exactly where I was. I could hear the old ceiling fans spinning above me, cars passing somewhere outside, someone laughing in the distance, but my body refused to move. The figure never moved either. It just watched me. I don't know how long it lasted. Maybe 30 seconds, maybe 5 minutes. Time feels different when you're terrified. The next thing I remember is gasping as my body suddenly responded. I practically launched myself out of bed and hit the light switch so hard I thought I'd broken it. The room was empty, door still locked, windows still closed, nothing under the bed, nothing in the closet, nothing. I barely slept that night. The next morning, I Googled my symptoms. The first result was sleep paralysis. The descriptions matched almost perfectly: being awake, unable to move, seeing a shadowy figure, chest tightness, hallucinations. I remember actually laughing out loud. That's it. I felt stupid for being so scared. It was just my brain playing tricks on me. I wish the story had ended there, because what happened next doesn't fit sleep paralysis at all. I've had sleep paralysis since I was 16. By the time I turned 24, I wasn't afraid of it anymore. If you've never experienced it, it's terrifying the first few times. You wake up, you can't move. Sometimes you hear voices. Sometimes you see things. But eventually, you get used to it. At least I did. I'd learned all the tricks. Don't panic. Focus on breathing. Move your fingers first. Wait for your body to catch up. It always ends. Always. until one Tuesday morning. I worked nights as a security guard at a small office building. Nothing exciting ever happened. I'd spend 12 hours watching security cameras, making coffee and walking empty hallways. By the time I got home, the sun was already rising. I'd shower, close my blackout curtains, fall asleep around 8. The paralysis usually happened in the afternoon, almost like clockwork. I'd wake up unable to move, see a shadow, hear strange sounds, then it'd pass. It became part of my routine, which is probably why I ignored the scratching. At first it sounded like mice, tiny scratches inside the walls. Old apartment, didn't think much of it. Every day it seemed a little closer. Wall, ceiling, closet, under the floor. Eventually, it sounded like something was crawling directly beneath my bed. One afternoon, I woke into paralysis again. I couldn't move, couldn't speak. The scratching had stopped. Instead, I heard breathing. Not beside me, under me. Slow, patient, like someone lying beneath the mattress, listening. I kept staring at the ceiling. I didn't want to look down. The breathing stopped. Then something tapped the wooden bed frame. Once, twice, 3 times. The paralysis ended. I jumped out of bed so fast the mattress slid across the floor. There was nothing underneath, just darkness. I started sleeping with the lights on. Didn't help. The episodes kept happening. Only now. The scratching had changed. It wasn't random anymore. It had rhythm. Every afternoon, 3 scratches. Pause, 3 scratches. Pause, 3 scratches. Almost like knocking. I told my landlord. He called pest control. They found nothing. No rats, no squirrels, no loose pipes, nothing. One day I decided to stay awake. I wanted to prove to myself the scratching only happened during sleep paralysis. So I made coffee, turned on every light, sat in bed watching TV. No sleeping, no dreams, no paralysis. At exactly 2:43 p.m. Scratch, scratch, scratch. I froze. It came from underneath the bed. I stared at the floor. Nothing moved. I told myself not to be ridiculous. Then, 3 more scratches, louder. I got off the bed, knelt down, looked underneath. Empty. I laughed, actually laughed. I was losing my mind. As I stood, back up, something scratched the underside of the mattress, directly above my head. I didn't sleep in my bedroom that night, or the next. I stayed on my couch. No paralysis, no scratching. I thought maybe changing rooms had solved it, until I woke around dawn, unable to move, facing the hallway. Someone was standing there, not in my bedroom, not in the corner, in the hallway, watching me, tall, impossible to make out. I closed my eyes, opened them again, still there. The paralysis faded. The hallway was empty. I packed a bag that morning. I wasn't staying there another night. Moving day arrived. My friend Marcus came over to help. We carried everything out except the bed. It was too heavy for one person. Together we lifted the mattress. Marcus stopped smiling. "What is that?" I looked down. The wooden slats beneath the mattress were covered in scratches, hundreds of them, deep, parallel. As if someone had been dragging fingernails across the wood from underneath. Marcus looked at me. "You've never seen these?" I slowly shook my head. Then he said something I still think about. "They're all facing the same direction." "What do you mean?" He pointed. Every scratch began in the center of the bed and dragged outward, as if whatever made them hadn't been trying to get in, it had been trying to get out. I moved across the city the next day. New apartment, new bed, new job. No more scratching, no more sleep paralysis, for almost a year. Then one afternoon, I woke up unable to move. I smiled for the first time in months. It's just sleep paralysis. I actually said it in my head. I wasn't scared anymore. Then I heard scratching, not in the walls, not under the bed, from inside my bedroom closet. 3 slow scratches. A pause. 3 more. Then, a voice. Quiet enough that I almost convinced myself I'd imagined it. I finally found you.